Have you ever looked in the mirror and thought, it doesn't matter what I wear anymore? If so, you're not alone. As we grow older, something subtle begins to shift. Not just in our bodies, but in how we think about showing up in the world. Maybe you don't have the same energy you used to. Maybe the idea of getting dressed up feels unnecessary now. Or maybe, somewhere deep inside, you've started to believe that no one's really looking anyway. But here's the truth. What you wear still speaks, even if you're not trying to say anything. And people do notice, even if they never say a word. You see, clothing is never just about fabric. It's about how you carry yourself, how you want to be seen, and what you believe about yourself. Right now, not 20 years ago, the clothes you wear each day quietly tell a story, not just to others but to yourself. They say, still care. They say, I still belong here. Or sometimes, without meaning to, they say, I've faded into the background. This isn't about fashion or trends. This isn't about looking younger or dressing like someone you're not. This is about presence, about dignity, about saying, I may be older, but I'm still me. In this video, we're going to explore how the clothes you wear in old age send powerful, unspoken messages about your mindset, your confidence, and even how others treat you. Some of it might surprise you, some of it might sting a little, but I promise you this. It's never too late to refresh the way you show up in the world. Without sacrificing comfort, and without pretending to be someone you're not. Because you've lived a full life. You've earned your wisdom. And now, it's time for your outer presence to reflect the strength, grace, and dignity that still lives within you. So stay with me. Because what you wear in old age really does say more than you think. Have you ever walked into a room and felt invisible? Or maybe someone treated you just a little differently? Spoke more slowly, looked past you, didn't take your words seriously. Sometimes, those moments have nothing to do with your age itself and everything to do with the silent signals you're sending, without even realizing it. One of the most powerful of those signals, what you're wearing. Now, I know what you might be thinking. I'm not trying to impress anyone. I'm just being me, and that's fair. But here's something that often gets overlooked. Clothing is communication. It tells people how to approach you, or whether to approach you at all. It says, I take pride in myself. Or, I don't want to be bothered. Or sometimes, I've stopped noticing. Think about it. Before you ever speak a word, people see your posture, your expression, and your outfit. Without meaning to, they make split-second judgments. Are you open or closed off? Are you sharp or slipping? Are you present or drifting into the background? And the hardest part is, they rarely say any of this out loud. It happens quietly, silently, subtly. You might notice it in small ways. The clerk who calls you, sweetie, and doesn't listen to your answer. The friend who hasn't invited you out in months. The family member who assumes you're not interested in anything new. It's not fair, but it's real. And often it starts with the smallest things, like a shirt that's 2 sizes too big, shoes that haven't been cleaned in a while, or an outfit that looks like it came from a decade you've long since outgrown. You see, when your outer appearance says, I've stopped caring, people unconsciously mirror that belief back to you. They start overlooking you, underestimating you, not because you deserve it, but because your style whispered something that your words never got the chance to correct. But here's the beauty of adding. You don't need a new wardrobe to change that signal. Sometimes, all it takes is putting on a clean, well-fitting shirt, choosing a color that flatters your skin tone, wearing something that says, I woke up today and chose to show up. Because when you present yourself with dignity, the world responds in kind. People notice, they listen more closely, they smile more often, and most importantly, you feel it too. You stand a little taller, you speak with more clarity, you remember, you're still here, you still matter. So the next time you reach for the same old sweater or the shirt with the stubborn stain, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, what message am I sending today? You might be surprised by how powerful a quiet signal can be when it's sent with intention. Let's be honest, no one wakes up one morning and says, I'm going to stop caring about how I look. It doesn't happen all at once. It happens slowly, quietly, one little choice at a time. Maybe it began when your favorite shoes became uncomfortable, so you started wearing those old slip-ons just around the house. Then the nice shirts stayed in the back of the closet because they felt too stiff, too formal. Then the hair appointments were spaced further apart. The shopping trips felt exhausting, and eventually comfort became the only priority. And you know what? That's understandable. Life changes, bodies change, energy changes, but here's the danger. When comfort becomes a habit without intention, it can slide into neglect, and not just physical neglect, but emotional neglect too, because what we wear often reflects how we feel about ourselves. When style starts to slip, it's rarely about the clothes themselves. It's about the story we begin telling ourselves. I no one's really looking anymore. I don't have anywhere to go, so why bother? At my age, it doesn't matter. But those aren't just thoughts, they're signals. Subtle shifts in how we see our own worth, and over time, that mindset shows up not just in our closets, but in our posture, our tone of voice, our willingness to connect. This isn't about dressing up to impress others. It's about not letting yourself fade away. Because you haven't faded. You're still full of wisdom, full of value, full of stories that deserve to be told and heard. But when your style says, "I'm invisible," people tend to believe you. It's also worth saying that many older adults, especially those who've spent their lives caring for others, often struggle to prioritize themselves. Putting on something nice can feel selfish, even silly, but it's not. It's self-respect. It's a quiet act of reclaiming your place in the world, and it's a signal that says, "Ooh, I'm still living, not just existing." So if your style has started to slip, don't be ashamed. Don't beat yourself up. But also, don't let it slide so far that you forget the power you hold. Even the smallest style shift can be a turning point, not just in how others see you, but in how you see yourself. One of the most common reasons older adults avoid their style is a perfectly reasonable want of comfort. And let's be clear, comfort is important. After decades of working, raising families, and navigating health, and dealing with life's ups and downs, you absolutely deserve to feel easy in your clothes. But here's where things get tricky. There's a fine line between dressing for comfort and dressing in a way that appears careless. Let's break this down with a bit of honesty and empathy. Comfort means the choosing clothes that feel soft on your skin, wearing shoes that support your feet, dressing in layers that keep you warm or cool depending on the season. That's smart and intentional. A carelessness, on the other hand, might look like wearing stained or wrinkled clothes because they're good enough. Living in pajamas all day, every day, even when you're expecting company. Not noticing when your clothing is visibly worn out or doesn't fit well anymore. See the difference? Comfort respects your body. Carelessness slowly disrespects your presence. And here's the tough part: while comfort feels good to you, carelessness sends a message to others. Even if you don't mean to. It says, "I've stopped trying. Nothing really matters anymore." Don't look too closely. People around you may not say it out loud, but they notice. They may begin to assume you're depressed, or unwell, or checked out. Even if that's not the case. Now, let's not confuse this with vanity. This isn't about dressing to impress, or putting on a performance. I'd say that's about the energy you bring to your space, when you take just a little extra care. Putting on clean, well-fitting clothes, brushing your hair before a visit, maybe adding a touch of color with a scarf or accessory. You change the atmosphere. People look at you differently. They listen to you more attentively. They respect you more instinctively, and even more importantly, you start to feel a shift inside yourself. So how do you strike the right balance? Here are a few simple questions to ask yourself. Am I choosing this because it feels good, or just because it's easy? If someone I respected showed up at my door, would I feel comfortable opening it dressed like this? Does this outfit reflect the dignity I've earned over the years? There's no shame in comfort. But don't let it dull your light. You can be comfortable and proud. You can be cozy and confident. You can age with ease and elegance. That's not just about clothes. That's about knowing you still matter. And dressing like you believe it. Have you ever noticed how people seem to treat you a little differently depending on how you're dressed? It might be subtle. A warmer smile at the grocery store, a longer conversation with your grandchild, or just feeling more noticed in a room. That's not a coincidence. The way you present yourself often sets the tone for how others respond to you. Now, let's be clear: your worth is not defined by your wardrobe. You are valuable and deserving of respect no matter what you wear. But in the real world, appearances do influence perception, especially at first glance. Here's why. People, whether consciously or unconsciously, pick up on visual cues to figure out how to engage with someone, and your clothing sends one of the clearest signals. For example, wearing clean, coordinated clothes says, I'm attentive, and I respect myself. Dressing with a bit of intention, even casually, tells others, I'm still engaged in life. On the other hand, mismatched, overly worn, or unkempt clothing might unintentionally saying, I've given up. Even if that couldn't be further from the truth. And here's the part that really matters. People often treat you based on how they think you treat yourself. Let that sink in. If your appearance says, I still show up for myself, then others are more likely to show up for you. With warmth, interest, and even admiration. This is especially important in older age, because as we age, there's already a risk of becoming overlooked. People might assume you're fragile, or out of touch, or uninterested in being part of the world. But when you dress in a way that reflects self-respect and care, you flip that narrative. Suddenly you're not invisible. You're seen. Not because you're dressed expensively or fashionably, but because your presence commands dignity. Even a simple detail, like putting on a watch you love, or choosing a shirt in a color that lifts your mood, can invite people to look at you with renewed appreciation. And there's a bonus here, egg. When others treat you with more respect, it reinforces your own sense of value. You feel more alive, more engaged, more open to connection. So the next time you're deciding what to wear, even if you're not going anywhere special, ask yourself, does this outfit remind me of who I am and how I want to show up in the world? Because clothing isn't just fabric, it's a form of communication. And at this stage in life, you still have a lot to say. Most of us don't give much thought to the colors we wear. We grab what's comfortable, familiar, or easy to match. Maybe we've worn the same color palette for decades. But what if I told you that the colors you wear have a powerful, almost silent impact on how others feel around you, and even how you feel about yourself? Colors are more than just visual choices. They're emotional signals. They affect mood, energy, and perception. Let's break it down. Wearing dark, muted colors all the time, like browns, grays, and blacks, can unintentionally send a message of retreat, sadness, or even invisibility. Now, these colors are elegant and can be very flattering when worn with intention, but worn every day, without contrast, they can dim your presence. Lighter or warmer tones, like soft blues, greens, lavenders, or earth tones, often suggest approachability, calmness, and warmth. Bold, rich colors, like burgundy, navy, emerald, or mustard, project confidence, strength, and vitality. Now, none of this is about fashion trends. It's about energy. When you put on color, you're not just dressing. You're setting the tone for how you'll move through the world that day. Think about it. Have you ever worn a color that made people say, that looks great on you? Or a time when you caught your own reflection and thought, I look a little more alive today? That's not vanity, that's presence. And in old age, presence matters more than ever. It combats stereotypes. It reminds people, and yourself, that you're still vibrant, expressive, and fully here. Even adding just one pop of color, a scarf, a pocket square, a pair of earrings, can shift how others experience you. And here's something deeper. Wearing color is an act of emotional generosity. It brightens the space around you. It lifts the mood of those you encounter. And often, without realizing it, it becomes part of how people remember you, fondly, vividly. So if your closet is filled with clothes in the safe tones you've worn forever, consider this song. What colors reflect who I am today, not who I was 30 years ago. Because you've grown, you've changed, and your style, including the colors you wear, can evolve with you. Don't underestimate the quiet power of color. It's not about being flashy, it's about being seen, and you deserve to be seen. Let's be honest. Comfort matters more with age than ever before. Tight waistbands, scratchy fabrics, stiff collars. No thank you. You've earned the right to feel physically at ease. But here's the challenging. There's a fine line between comfort and carelessness, and too often, we cross it without realizing. Let me explain. Comfort is choosing clothes that feel good on your body, that move with you, that don't pinch or restrict. Carelessness is using comfort as an excuse to stop paying attention to how you present yourself altogether. It's the difference between a soft, fitting cardigan, jeans, and a sagging sweater that's seen better days. A pair of tailored stretch pants, bees, pajama bottoms worn out in public. A relaxed outfit that still looks thoughtful as one that says, I don't care anymore. And here's the uncomfortable truth. When your appearance says, I don't care, people start to respond to you that way. They assume you've given up. They may even subconsciously start treating you with less interest or more. Not out of cruelty, but out of emotional distance. But when you find that sweet spot, clothing that feels comfortable and cared for, something changes. You feel more put together, more confident, more ready to engage with the world around you. I know people pick up on that. Even a casual outfit, if it's clean, fits well, and reflects a bit of intention, sends the messaging: I still care about how I move through this world. This doesn't mean you have to wear anything stiff, formal, or flashy. But it does mean checking in with yourself. Am I dressing for comfort? Or have I slipped into a kind of hiding? Because style doesn't have to come at the expense of ease. Today's clothing options, especially for older adults, include so many choices that are soft, breathable, stretchable, and stylish all at once. You can feel great and still look like you put in a little effort, and when people see that, they treat you like someone who still values life's details, someone who's still in the game. Remember, you don't stop caring because you get older. But sometimes, you stop showing it, and that makes all the difference. So ask yourself, is this outfit making me disappear? Or is it helping me stand a little taller, even if it's just at the breakfast table? Because in old age, your clothing can either say, I'm fading, or I'm still here. And how you feel inside often follows what you choose to wear outside. You might not realize it, but the way you dress can have a profound impact on your confidence, especially as you get older. It's not just about looking good for others. It's about how you feel inside when you see yourself in the mirror. When you put on clothes thoughtfully, choosing pieces that fit well, flatter your shape, and express your personality, something shifts. You stand a little straighter. Your smile comes easier. You carry yourself with a quiet assurance that wasn't there before. This is what I mean by dressing with intention. It's about making choices, even small ones, that say, respect myself. I care about how I show up. I'm still vibrant and worth noticing. And here's the secret: confidence is magnetic. When you feel confident, others feel it too. They respond to your energy, not just your outfit. Your presence fills the room. On the flip side, if you're dressing without thought, throwing on whatever's closest, it can send a message of disconnection or indifference, even if you don't mean it. So how do you start dressing with intention? Begin with a simple question every morning. What feeling do I want to carry today? Maybe it's calm, maybe it's joyful, maybe it's strong. Then pick clothes that reflect that feeling. Colors, textures, styles that resonate with your mood and personality. Don't be afraid to add accessories. A favorite scarf, a piece of jewelry, a belt. Something that feels like you. And most importantly, wear what makes you feel good, not what you think you should wear. Because this isn't about impressing others, it's about honoring yourself. Dressing with intention becomes a daily ritual of self-care, a small but powerful way to remind yourself and the world that you are still a person full of life, value, and style. And when you carry that energy, it transforms not just your look but your entire day. Accessories, often overlooked, but they're like the punctuation marks of your outfit. They add personality, detail, and a layer of meaning that goes beyond fabric and fit. Think about it: a necklace, a watch, a scarf. Even your glasses can say something about who you are without a single word. As we age, these small touches become even more powerful because they reflect your journey, the stories you carry, the experiences that shape you, and the identity you've crafted over time. Wearing a piece of jewelry passed down from a loved one, that tells a story of connection and legacy. Choosing a bold bracelet or a colorful scarf, that says you're still playful, still vibrant. But what happens when we stop wearing accessories altogether? It might seem like a minor detail, but the absence of these finishing touches can make an outfit feel unfinished, and by extension, make you feel a bit invisible. Accessories are a simple way to communicate confidence, care, and creativity. They invite curiosity and compliments. They give others a glimpse into your personality, your sense of humor, your elegance, your spark. And here's something beautiful: accessories don't have to be expensive or flashy to carry meaning. A well-loved brooch, a handmade bracelet, or even a favorite hat can become your signature, a reminder that your style is a living story, always evolving. So next time you get dressed, pause for a moment and ask yourself, what story do I want to tell today? Then choose an accessory that helps you say it. Because in the world of style, it's the details that often leave the deepest impression. Our clothes aren't just fabric stitched together, they're a canvas for expressing who you really are. Especially in old age, when so much around us changes, what you wear can be a bold declaration of your true self. Many people fall into the trap of wearing what's expected or what older people are supposed to wear. But when you dress in ways that don't resonate with who you are inside, it creates a disconnect. Not just for others, but for you. I think about how liberating it feels when you slip into an outfit that just fits your personality. Maybe it's brightful, elegant, or bold. That feeling of alignment. It's powerful. It boosts your mood, your energy, and even your interactions with others. On the other hand, wearing something that doesn't feel like you, something dull, outdated, or forced, can weigh you down. Your clothes should be a celebration of your identity, your passions, your memories, your dreams. This is your chance to reinvent and reaffirm yourself, to show the world that age is not a limit, but a new chapter. So ask yourself, does this outfit feel like me today? If the answer is yes, wear it proudly. If not, don't be afraid to explore, experiment, and find what truly fits your spirit. Because when your clothes reflect your authentic self, you send a message louder than words. I am here. I am me. And I'm proud of it. It's natural to hold on to what's familiar, especially when it comes to style. Maybe there's a jacket, a dress, or a suit that you've worn for decades. It feels like part of your identity. But here's the thing: as we age, our bodies, tastes, and lifestyles change. And sometimes, clinging too tightly to styles from the past can keep us stuck, preventing us from fully embracing who we are now. Wearing the same styles year after year might comfort you, but it can also send a message that you're living in the past, rather than embracing the present. People notice when someone dresses exactly the same way they did 20 or 30 years ago. I'd say this. It might make them wonder if you're resisting change or hiding from who you are today. That's not to say you should throw everything out or chase every trend, but being open to evolving your style, even just a little, can bring freshness and joy. Try updating fabrics, cuts, or colors that work better with your current self. Mix in modern pieces with your classic favorites. This subtle shift shows the world that you're still growing, adapting, and confident enough to try something new. And that's an incredibly powerful statement. One that can inspire respect and admiration from everyone you meet. You might not realize it, but the way you dress can influence more than just first impressions. It can actually impact your relationships and social connections. When you take care in your appearance, it sends a message to others that you value yourself and those around you. People naturally respond to confidence and care. When you look put together, friends and family are more likely to engage with you, providing deeper conversations and closer connections. On the flip side, if your style feels tired or interrupted, it can unintentionally create distance. It's not about managing or trying to impress anyone. It's about honoring the relationships that matter by showing up fully, present, respectful, and engaged. Dressing well becomes a form of nonverbal communication, saying, "I'm here. I want to connect. You matter to me." And when others feel that energy, they open up, they smile more, and they make space for you in their lives. For many, social isolation is a real challenge in older age. But putting effort into your style can be a small yet powerful step toward building and maintaining meaningful connections. It's a way to nurture your social circle and remind yourself that you belong, that you're still vibrant, interesting, and worthy of companionship. So next time you get dressed, think about who you want to connect with that day and how your outfit can help bridge that gap. Because style isn't just about clothes. It's about building a life full of warmth, love, and belonging. As we've explored today, what you wear in old age says far more than just your taste in clothes. It tells a story about how you see yourself, how you honor your journey, and how you connect with the world around you. Your style is a powerful form of communication, one that can reflect your dignity, your confidence, and your ongoing growth. It's never too late to refresh your wardrobe, to try new looks, or to add meaningful touches that express who you truly are today. Remember, every choice you make in how you dress sends a message, not just to others, but to yourself. So take a moment each day to dress in a way that uplifts you, empowers you, and makes you proud. Because your style is part of your legacy, a silent, beautiful language that speaks volumes about the wisdom and grace you carry through life. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe so we can continue exploring the beautiful complexities of aging with wisdom and style. Until next time, keep shining and keep expressing the incredible story that is uniquely yours.